This is CBN NewsWatch.
It is Friday, June 4th, 2021. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, more digital attacks against the United States infrastructure, why experts say it is not likely to slow down. A social service agency waits on the Supreme Court to make a ruling on whether they have to partner with same-sex couples, why they say it's against their principles. Vaccine regulations to shop and eat, the new rules that could come into play. Major exits in the sports world. We are breaking down what's coming up next. All those stories and more are ahead in today's edition of CBN NewsWatch. I want to begin this half hour at the White House. It is bluntly directing businesses to shore up digital defenses after multiple cyber attacks recently. The administration putting out a memo including a warning no company is safe. CBN News White House correspondent Eric Phillips has more on this alarming trend.
If you're keeping score, there have been 4 major cyber attacks in the U.S. in recent weeks, 3 of them blamed on bad actors in Russia or China. From food to transportation to fuel, America's infrastructure is under attack, and experts say there's likely more to come. The most recent attack happened Wednesday near Cape Cod, criminals hacking the ferry to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard and demanding ransom just as the summer season picks up. The FBI now says the JBS food distributor hack last weekend points to criminals in Russia. Meat production now returning to normal at U.S. plants, and officials say food quality was not impacted. May's Colonial Pipeline hack impacted the entire East Coast, sending fuel prices soaring and prompting long lines at gas stations. Authorities say Russian hackers were also behind this one. And the nation's largest transit system in New York City now revealing an attack in April, when officials say Chinese actors penetrated their system with minimal effects. This memo from the White House Thursday with a clear warning saying in part, all organizations must recognize that no company is safe from being targeted by ransomware, regardless of size or location.
Business leaders have a responsibility to strengthen their cyber defenses to protect the American public and our economy. Companies that view ransomware as a threat to their core business operations, rather than a simple risk of data theft, will react and recover more effectively.
It's a disturbing trend that, while not a new crime, is growing, according to experts.
We've observed evidence of ransomware attacks at over 80 food and beverage companies that led to disruptions from ransomware over the last few years. This problem is escalating and getting increasingly out of hand.
Security officials say this is now the main warfare, with the potential to be more impactful than any other. And they say now is not the time to be caught unaware.
I think the takeaway right now is if you're a corporate executive or a state and local government agency head and you thought that you would be spared, that criminals wouldn't go after you, guess what? They went after our gas and they went after our hot dogs. No one is out of bounds here.
While the president signed an executive order laying out new cyber defense plans last month, the White House is quick to say that they can't do it on their own. They need businesses to take steps of their own. And as the president heads into a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin later on this month, you can be sure that the actions of criminals in Russia that have negatively impacted the U.S. will surely come up. Eric Phillips, CBN News.
You could say the wind is at their backs. Republicans have a strong gust blowing them into the midterm elections. Cancel culture, woke corporations, big tech, and media shutdowns. These and other progressive policies could leave the president's party high and dry. So how big a hit could the Democrats take this go-round? Jennifer Wishon has more on what we can expect.
Conventional wisdom tells us the party not in the White House, in this case Republican, has a major advantage in the midterms. Add that to lingering frustrations over the 2020 election with an extreme liberal agenda coming out of Washington, and many analysts say Republicans are heading into November 2022 with a steady wind at their backs.
In the evenly divided Senate, 20 Republican and 14 Democratic seats are up for grabs. Every House seat is on the ballot, where Democrats hold a slim 8-seat advantage. 5 seats are currently vacant. Historically, the party in the White House loses an average of 26 seats in the midterm, and the last 2 Democratic presidents took an even greater midterm shellacking. In 1994, President Clinton lost 52 House and 8 Senate seats to Newt Gingrich's contract with America. And in 2010, fueled by the Tea Party movement, Republicans scored 63 House and 6 Senate seats during President Obama's first midterm. CBN News senior editor John Waggy says President Biden could face a similar, if not worse, fate.
You've got the cancel culture. You've got woke corporations telling people how to think. You've got big tech and media outlets basically telling people, if you believe this about COVID or if you believe this about the election, we're just going to shut you down. And you combine all that, and it's producing a pretty heady brew of anger right now.
This as Democrats push an agenda aimed at transforming America. What's at stake? One bill critics say would ensure a Democratic majority. H.R. 1, or the For the People Act, is a sweeping federal elections bill that would steamroll state laws, mandate early voting, and outlaw voter ID requirements.
This legislation is there to protect the right to vote, to remove obstacles of participation.
This bill makes elections less trustworthy, not more. And trust is everything.
Another measure that's passed the House but doesn't have the votes to pass a Senate filibuster is a push to make the District of Columbia a state. That would add 2 likely Democratic senators, creating a steep bar for Republicans to overcome. There's also the Equality Act, a bill that expands LGBT rights at the expense of biblical beliefs. Waggy says this all plays into predictions the electorate is ready to apply the brakes.
People are beginning to mobilize, and they're starting to say, if we want to keep the republic the way we understand the republic, we're going to have to get involved ourselves.
Another advantage for Team GOP, redistricting, or the redrawing of congressional lines after the census. Since Republicans control more state houses across the country, they'll be in charge of crafting more districts and can draw lines favorable to their party. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Some families say they are moving out of their home state to protect their transgender children. The Superior family moved from Arkansas because the state began passing LGBTQ legislation. House Bill 1570 said anyone under the age of 18 could not seek any kind of treatment if they were transgender. Shortly after the bill passed, George and Emily Spurrier decided to move their family to New Mexico to protect their transgender son.
We basically just want him to be able to flourish and be who he is.
Up until last week, we thought we were the only family that had made this decision from Arkansas, but we've since found out that there's, I think, 2 other families now.
The Spurrier family raised $15,000 on their GoFundMe page in order to help them to move. Religious freedom advocates are awaiting a major ruling from the Supreme Court this month. It pits a faith-based foster agency against LGBTQ advocates. Senior National Affairs correspondent Heather Sells is on this story.
The Supreme Court will decide the future of Philadelphia's Catholic Social Services Agency, which is asking to follow the church's teaching and not partner with same-sex or unmarried couples. It's a high-stakes religious liberty fight.
So what we are contending for in this case is that Catholic Social Services have an equal right to participate in the public square. And the way that they are participating in the public square is by serving the most needy amongst us, which are children without homes.
And the Supreme Court told us when they said that the Constitution requires same-sex marriage that, of course, the law will protect those who have a different view in their religious or their moral conscience. But in many cases, that's not happening.
But LGBTQ advocates like the Human Rights Campaign say the case is about discrimination, and a decision against the city of Philadelphia would open a, quote, Pandora's box for future discrimination. Andrew Walker, a professor of ethics at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary and a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, disagrees.
Discrimination implies locking people out, a class of people out from an entire industry, and that's not what's going on. What's going on in Fulton versus Philadelphia is you have one adoption agency that is wanting to operate according to its beliefs.
Catholic Social Services never actually turned away any gay couples, and there's dozens of Philadelphia foster agencies that work with them. So Regent Law Professor Brad Jacobs says they can't ultimately lose.
They can adopt either way. They don't need Catholic social services. This is on their part an effort to basically stamp out anyone who doesn't agree with their worldview.
Court watchers are closely watching the case with its hot-button issues in the hands of a new conservative majority.
We have a Supreme Court that is probably for the first time as pro-religious liberty in its design as it has been in perhaps the history of the Supreme Court.
The big question with Fulton is how broadly will the justices rule? They could revisit a 1990 case that decimated the free exercise of religion and provide a substantial win for people of faith. Or they could issue a narrow ruling which would do little to advance either side. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Coming up, proof is in the vaccine card, the move businesses are considering as we move into a post-COVID world.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living Tuesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Superbook fans, here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible App. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Hillsburg Falls man, come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible App. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
If you are vaccinated, you have more freedom, or maybe not. Many businesses all across the country are not taking any chances. They're wondering how can they know their customers have actually received the vaccine. You guessed it, they want proof. So will you be required to get a so-called vaccine passport? And if so, at what cost is it to your personal freedom? Charlene Aaron has the details on this escalated debate.
With the pandemic easing and the CDC no longer recommending masks indoors or outdoors, businesses are grappling with whether to require proof of the vaccine from employees and customers alike.
For the first time in a year, COVID cases are down in all 50 states, and more than 60% of adults have gotten at least one dose of a vaccine. New York, ground zero during the height of the pandemic, recently announced those vaccinated no longer have to wear masks or social distance.
The bottom line is if you're vaccinated, you have more freedom.
But some say it's still too soon.
I'm going to keep the mask on. I'm not taking any chances.
Some companies also not taking chances, implementing what is called vaccine passports. They would require people to show evidence they're vaccinated before taking part in events or entering certain buildings. The Malt House restaurant in New York's Greenwich Village is a prime example.
So when the guests come through the door, it's going to be the first question that we ask: are you guys vaccinated? Can you just show us a quick bit of proof? And then essentially, if you guys are happy enough to take your mask off, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm going to have all of my staff who have been vaccinated make sure that they show up with their passport on hand.
A number of red states are moving to prevent businesses from making this move. Florida, Texas, Georgia, Iowa, and others banning vaccine passports, citing privacy concerns and freedom as the main reasons for the ban.
Government should not require any Texan to show proof of vaccination and reveal private health information just to go about their daily lives. That is why I issued an executive order that prohibits government-mandated vaccine passports in Texas. We will continue to vaccinate more Texans and protect public health, and we will do so without treading on Texans' personal freedoms.
Further south in Smithfield, Virginia, response to vaccine passports is mixed.
It's good for the society to get better. They should. And we can open up again this economy that is really in need.
I think in a way it's a good idea and it's a bad idea. I mean, if you can prove it, then yeah, but it's kind of like an invasion of privacy.
Delta Airlines recently mandated vaccinations for all new employees in the U.S. As for passengers, airlines don't require vaccines or passports, although many are considering digital versions for scanning that would carry specific health information.
I think we should have some kind of a vaccine passport. I like to travel internationally, and it would be nice to be able to demonstrate that I am in fact vaccinated.
Other businesses could follow suit, according to a survey by the Rockefeller Foundation and Arizona State University. Overall, 88% of the employers surveyed plan to require or encourage employee vaccinations. Of that number, 60% will require proof of vaccination. According to the EEOC, employers can legally make this requirement while providing exceptions for those with a medical or religious accommodation. This fall, a number of campuses, including Yale, Georgetown, and University of California, will make vaccinations mandatory.
God wants me to be healthy, and I don't want to put those kind of chemicals and toxins inside my body.
Jackie Gale, a sophomore at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, has never received any vaccine for religious reasons. For some reason, she was blocked from registering for classes this semester.
Recently, I finished my first year. I was allowed to live on campus, attend classes.
While Gale's attorney says the school has since lifted the hold and is working to allow her to take classes again, she points out that her client's religious exemption should be respected and protected.
So the university has lifted the hold. We're still in ongoing conversation with them at First Liberty and waiting for them to really confirm that she's not going to have this issue again. They did allow her to register all last year during her freshman year. We're trying to get them to confirm that they do honor religious exemptions, put that in their policy, a written policy, just like they acknowledge medical exemptions. They need to acknowledge the religious liberty exemptions too. And we want to make sure she's not going to have this problem throughout her experience at UAB.
Meanwhile, some evangelical colleges are also encouraging students get the vaccine, with Seattle Pacific University actually adopting a mandate that students be vaccinated before starting school in the fall. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Still ahead, the end of an era for a legendary basketball coach. Our sports director, Sean Brown, is joining us to explain how the program is going to move forward following him. We'll be right back.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy?
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope. all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts, in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain, get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Major exits from the sports world this week. Tennis champion Naomi Osaka announcing she will take a break from tennis and not play in the French Open. And more recently, a coaching legend announcing his retirement. CBN Sports Director Sean Brown joins us now to talk more about this. So, Sean, let's talk about Mike Krzyzewski announcing his retirement. He's leaving quite the record behind. What shoes will his successor have to fill? Big ones for sure.
I don't think most people would want to follow that legacy. It is a tough one to follow. 12 Final Four appearances, 5 national championships. There's the players that he's been able to coach, the Zion Williamsons, Jason Tatums, Kyrie Irvings. There's just such a long, rich history with Coach K coaching players. And a big part of that is his ability to be able to choose the right players for his program. He understands that coaching is really about building these young men mentally, physically, stretching their education in the game of basketball, but also helping them to understand that it's bigger than basketball. It's about shaping men and really empowering the world, whether you go on to play in the NBA or into the workforce. It's so much bigger than basketball, and he's been able to do that. Such a great legacy to leave behind to the next guy.
Indeed. So exactly who's going to be taking over for Coach K?
Well, this has been done well. They've chosen John Shire, who played for Coach K, I think, between 2006, 2010. He's been coaching as an assistant with Coach K since 2014. So he understands the culture, which is a great move. And not only that, he has an opportunity to really just glean from Coach K this last season, because Coach will coach this coming season. This will be his last season, but he has a chance to walk a little closer with Coach K to learn, just how to recruit. What should you be looking for? Those little bit of last lessons that he can get before he takes the reins. And so, great class act, tough act to follow. The best thing Coach Shire can do really is just to figure out what he can implement alongside what he's learned from Coach K.
Beautiful. Let's turn to the world of tennis now. Naomi Osaka saying she's not going to play in the French Open. What's the reasoning behind this break from tennis for her?
The short answer is mental health. I mean, she said in a tweet that she suffered long bouts of depression since the U.S. Open, the 2018 U.S. Open. And so she's been dealing with depression over the last few years. And it takes great courage to come out and admit that, to say that, you know what, these press conferences, the weight that I've been carrying into these tournaments is becoming, it's been tough to cope with. And so she apologized to the media, but she's saying, look, I need to step away from this to get myself together. She said self-care. That's really what it's about. And the thing is most people understand that, but then there are those that don't believe that she's making, some believe that she's making an excuse not to talk to the media. We understand that as a professional athlete, you're obligated to talk to the media, but not at the expense of your mental health. And so I understand why she would step away. You're not doing anyone any favors by pushing forward just for them if you're not right. And so I commend her for her decision and courage to say, look, I need to step away from this game right now to get myself together. And so most agree. There are some naysayers, but those are the people that don't understand that mental health is a serious thing that we must deal with. And
Absolutely.
She's doing that.
Absolutely. Self-care is the best care. We are grateful that she's taking the break, and we'll be praying for her. I want to remind you at home that you can get more from Sean Brown this weekend on the CBN News Channel. You can go the distance Saturday at 6:30 and Sunday at 7:30. And both of those, of course, are Eastern Standard Time. Coming up, a large delivery for astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Stay with us for that.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
And welcome back. Tomorrow, astronauts at the International Space Station should receive a 7,300-pound shipment from SpaceX. The Falcon blasted from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida Thursday afternoon. The supplies include fresh lemons, onions, as well as a powerful solar panels. The solar panels will be used to improve the space station's power grid. Astronauts will conduct 2 spacewalks later this month to help install the 2 rollout panels alongside solar wings that have been in continuous operation, get this, for 20 years. Time now for your Friday Faithful, and I'll leave you with this message as we wrap another work week. We're all preachers, and our lives are sermons. What messages are we giving to those who are closest to us, and what are we saying to those we're meeting for the very first time? We must watch our words and watch our actions. Our lives are saying something, whether we realize it or not. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Thank you so much for watching. You can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or at cbnnews.com. We would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us at the address right there at the bottom of your screen, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We would love to hear from you. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back on Monday.